but we are going to go ahead and get started. It is a few minutes after 1, so I definitely want to respect your time today and welcome you. Thank you for taking the time out to join us today. We know that you're busy in the weeks of ministry, so we definitely appreciate your time. We are excited to introduce you to MP eGiving today. You're looking for a more streamlined giving solution and integration, and we've built MP eGiving with just that in mind. So today we're going to cover why you should consider MP eGiving for your ministry and how it's going to benefit you and your contributors. What you're all here to see, of course, a demo of MP eGiving. And we can't show you what we have without adding a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come. So you'll get that sneak peek as well. Plus, who doesn't love a promo? We're going to share a special offer for you just to take advantage of before we move over to our Q&A. So we know that you'll have questions. We want to make sure that we take time to answer those while we're on the webinar today. And last but not least, we'll want to make sure that you know what to do if you want to learn more or if you're ready to get started with MP eGiving. So we'll cover next steps. So a quick intro to those you'll be hearing from today. You've already been listening to us talk about birthday cake. I'm Leanne Ortega. I've been at ACST in product marketing for about 4.5 years now. Previously, I worked as a communications director at a church here in Florence, and actually I was able to implement a new ACST giving solution while on staff there. So I'm a personal fan of the giving solutions that ACST builds. I am honored today to share the floor with Mary. She's a very familiar face and voice for many of you as she is the principal product owner for Ministry Platform. She's the one keeping those dev teams working hard to bring you all the features and the releases in MP that you're looking for. So we're excited that she's here today to show MP eGiving. So before we dive in, just a few quick reminders. If you have a question, post that in the Q&A. Of course, we want to see where you're from, your favorite birthday cake flavor over in that chat. But if you have a question about MP eGiving as we're talking today, post it in the Q&A. Caitlin from our implementation team will be going through those questions and getting you the answers that you need until we get to the Q&A section of the webinar. We are recording this today, so if you have to jump off at any time or if you're interrupted or even if you just want to share it out with others on staff, you will receive an email with that webinar recording shortly after. It's typically at the beginning of next week. So you should get that early next week and you'll be able to share that or rewatch it as you need to. And last but not least, make sure to follow us on social. We're on all the social channels, so go follow us, stay in the loop of what we have going on. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. Why did we build MP eGiving? Well, our teams were listening to all of you and your current struggles with other giving vendors that you're using with Ministry Platform. Some are changing your contact data and they're adding campuses into your databases, and then they aren't willing to fix those issues, which really just leaves you in a mess to clean all of that data up. You're also having issues with syncing. That means you spend a lot of time double checking your systems and you're not being able to trust that things are synced in both platforms. Default contacts are another issue. There's a large amount of them being added each week, and you're the one having to do that cleanup work, which is a lot of extra time spent cleaning up instead of being able to do ministry. And then, of course, we all know that anything not matching in the financial world is a huge issue. So batch totals not matching is definitely a red flag for your processes and your giving vendors. And last but not least, when you do need support, you're having to contact 2 support teams to really solve those issues. And that's a lot of stress and a lot of time. And plus, we just love our MP support team. So we see the benefit of having one support team that you can count on for your needs. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary and the part that you're all waiting for, the MP eGiving demo. Mary?
Thanks so much, Leanne. I appreciate it. So we want to talk a little bit more about MP eGiving and part of the benefits of it and the reasons that we have built this product and part of why we like it. So like Leanne said, we were listening to you guys and we took a lot of your feedback into consideration when we built this product. So before I hop in the demo, I'm going to talk some more about the feature set, and then I'll hop in the demo so you can see how the features relate in the demo. So with MP eGiving, you will have one single source of truth where everything integrates back into Ministry Platform. You'll have also automatic or real-time donation posting. So as soon as somebody gives online, it shows in MP eGiving and in the platform. And we've developed some sync mechanisms within the product to make sure, like Leanne said, that totals match across systems. When we were hearing from y'all, we heard that one of your biggest pain points is that you may have one total in the platform, a different total in your eGiving product, maybe a third total if you have a gateway or a merchant account provider, where those weren't syncing up. And of course, for finance staff, totals have to match across systems. So we've developed some syncing and some real-time donor matching as well to help with that. The other thing that was important to you all, in addition to the finance side, is the donor experience, right? And so we wanted to make that as seamless and as simplified as possible, which is why I'm excited to say that we've enabled Ministry Platform SSO with MP eGiving. That means the donor can sign in MP eGiving with their Ministry Platform username and password. That way they can easily access a safe payment method to give a one-time gift or to set up a recurring gift if they want to. MP eGiving also has some additional features outside of just the ability to give online. Text giving is included. Of course, we've included an event payment with an event payment handoff for our widgets. And then behind the scenes of MP eGiving is Vanco Payment Solutions. Vanco is the merchant account provider for this product. That means their job is to move money from the donor's account to your church's bank account. And what's great about Vanco is in the decade plus that I've worked with them, and the 20 years that they've been in business, they've always put transparency first. So with Vanco, you're never going to have a contract. You're never going to be locked into anything. They don't have any hidden fees at all. They disclose fees up front. And then there's no additional cost from us. So you would pay Vanco for moving money, but then an MP eGiving is included in Ministry Platform. So no additional costs from us at ACST to use the MP eGiving features. And then Vanco just securely processes the donations in the back end. So real excited about MP eGiving and why it is to the rescue. I'm now going to share my screen and dive straight into the demo. When I go through the demo, first let me preface this by saying, I spent several years helping churches set up and launch online giving. So I could probably spend 2 hours demoing the solution. For the sake of your time and maybe your sanity, I'm not going to spend 2 hours demoing the solution. I'm going to hit some highlights, just some major points of it, things that I think will help you understand the vision of it and where we're headed. And then, like Leanne said, if you have questions, put those in the Q&A, and we'll also be following up with you afterwards to make sure any questions get answered. But what you see on your screen here is an example of a giving form. This is how the donor would give when they give to your church. Almost everything you see on this giving form is customizable. So as I go through this demo, I'm going to show you not only how you can customize the form to tailor it to whatever your church's needs are. I'm also going to go through and give a gift so you can see that real-time processing that I talked about. But first, what I'm going to do is start where your finance team starts. Start in, let's say, the back end of the product. So what I'm signed in here is MP eGiving, and I'm signed in as an administrator. So I can see way more than your donors would see. By being signed in as an administrator, I've settled you right here on what we have as a pending screen. And I'm going to talk through this screen and some of the highlight features here. But one thing to note is I am signed into a test site, a developer test site. I wanted to do that because I wanted to get as much fake data in here as possible to replicate a volume of gifts, right? So some things that you see in here won't reflect exactly what's happening in the real world, but it's really good, and I wanted to have that fake data so you get a good idea of what this will look like. So what you see here is a list of pending contributions. As soon as a donor gives online, that donation shows in this screen. And that donation shows on the screen until the donation is deposited to your church's bank account. And then it automatically moves to a process screen where it shows in a processed batch. At that time, the batch record is also created in Ministry Platform. So we have real-time syncing for the batch records and for the donation records. But what I wanted to point out in this back screen and in this grid is this icon here. So in making sure that totals match across systems, we've developed some syncing statuses and notifications for you, so that way you're alerted if for whatever reason something may not be able to be sent from MP eGiving to Ministry Platform. So let's, for example, say that the API credentials were changed for this system. Maybe you have a new employee, they went into the platform, they changed your API client. If the API client changes, then MP eGiving can't send donations to the platform, right? In that case, we're going to warn you in MP eGiving. We're going to say, hey, this donation is not synced. You need to update those credentials. Once you update those credentials, you can resync it. Another use case we thought of is, let's say you have a brand new employee on staff, and that employee, in an overzealous effort to clean up ministry platform data, goes in the platform and deletes several funds. Yes, there will be much grinding and gnashing of teeth, but it is okay if they delete several funds. We wanted to build a fail-proof for that and say if a fund is removed from the platform, that doesn't prevent the donor from giving to that fund online if you already had that fund available for online donations, right? But if that did happen, we would alert you. So that's what you see here. We have this non-sync tab where we have a donation, and it's telling you that the reason the donation is not synced from MP eGiving back into the platform is that the funds from MP eGiving can't match a program ID in the platform. What you would then do is go in the platform, restore those programs that were removed. You can then come back to this system, select and resync those transactions. So that's just another use case where we've built in the ability to make sure that totals are always matching across systems. The third use case that we came up with, which I actually don't have a way to show you here because we've never had it happen, but we built it in. Let's say that there's intermittent connectivity issues with the platform. Maybe there's a release that's going out, there's a blip in connection for a few seconds. Even though that blip could only last a few seconds, donors are giving to your church 24 hours a day when you have online giving. They're giving all the time. So in that case, what would happen is the MP eGiving system is going to continue to try to send that donation to the platform until it can be sent successfully. It will actually continue to try to send that donation for up to 72 hours. Now, if you're having intermittent connectivity issues for 72 hours, something else is going on, right? But that gives you an idea of the foolproof mechanisms that we built in these systems to make sure that donations can sync across systems. And everything that I just stated for contributions for this donation screen is also true for payments. So in the left menu, I've switched from a contribution screen to a payment screen. These are payments that were made via the event payment handoff. So the congregant starts in the widget just like they do today, register for that event, then handed to a payment screen where they make the payment. The payment shows in this grid, and if any reason it can't be synced back to the platform, we will let you know. And you can then take whatever steps need to be taken there. What we've also built in this system is the ability to map not only your donation programs to the system, but you can also map in the programs associated with an event. That gives you a little more granular reporting level from the MP eGiving system. So if you have multiple events going on, you could see in MP eGiving the program associated with each event payment, and you can even put reports from MP eGiving, both for payments and for donations. So if I go back to our contributions grid, I'm going to choose a process batch that's got a few different gifts in it, so that way you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. You'll notice when I select the batch, I then have a couple different report options. I'm going to choose the gift list. That's the most detailed of the reports. When I export that list, you'll get a preview of it. I'll show you the preview so you can get an idea of the granular level of reporting you have both in this system and in Ministry Platform. So on this list, you can see all the details of the donations. You see we even have some split gifts. Those are donations given to two different funds or programs. And then at the bottom of the report, it totals out everything that was in that batch by fund. So that way you can easily take those totals, make sure those totals match both your accounting software as well as the platform when you finalize your batch in the platform. Speaking of funds, the funds in ministry in the MP eGiving system are set up in the left nav on this funds area. When you add a fund, that's when you tell MP eGiving what program ID that fund matches in ministry platform. So we're dynamically pulling in all those program IDs from the platform from your active programs. You can add as many funds as you need to MP eGiving and then match each program. This is also where you can tell the system if it is a giving fund or a payment fund. The reason that that's important is because we deposit or batch event payments separately from online donations. That way, your batch for your gifts always matches your batch and ministry platform contributions, right? And then your payments batch matches separate totals. You can, again, keep those totals separate, keep those totals matching. You'll notice on the fund level, I have what's called a deposit account. So you automatically get two, one for payments and one for donations, but you can have as many additional deposit accounts as you need. For example, let's say your church is going through a building program and your CFO or your head of your finance committee says, hey, for this building program, I need to see anything associated with the building separately in our accounting system. I want to see all the cost for that building as well as all the income to help pay for the building completely separate. In that case, you may set up a separate deposit account with Vanco, map your building program fund to that deposit account. That way, any donations given to the building program automatically deposit separately, just making it easier for you to track that breakdown on the finance side. You may do the same thing if you're a multi-campus church. You may have a different deposit account per campus in case you track some separate funds and books in your accounting software for each campus. So that's the level of granularity that's just automatically baked in the system, giving you as much flexibility as you need. If I go back to the contributions page, you can actually see that example here. So here we have a gift from John Green, and it tells you that it's a split deposit. That means he gave to one fund that went to one deposit account and a separate fund that went to a separate deposit account. And when those gifts batch into a deposit that goes to your bank account, you'll have two batches there and two batches in ministry platform automatically as well. So that gives you an idea of just some of the things we built in the product for your finance staff to help make their lives easier. What I'm going to switch over to now is more of the donor experience, more of the fun stuff you can do with your donors. So you'll notice on the left nav under funds, we have online giving forms. The online giving form is what I showed you at the very first start of the webinar. That is truly defining that donor experience. And when you create an online giving form, of course, you'll put it on your website. It's also what comes in via text, and it comes in via Pocket Platform as well. So however you want to engage with your donors, that's where the donors come in. And you can have as many different online giving forms as you need. You may have one and only use one. If you're multi-campus, you may have one per campus. Or you may have one for your general offerings that you want to point most gifts and donors to, and you may have a separate one for special offertory purposes, like a Christmas offering or a special missions offering. What I'm going to go in now is show you how you can more easily customize these giving forms to suit whatever purposes you need. I'll start with this one called default. I'll edit the form. I'm going to go to this design area because that's the fun part. That's where you customize the form to make it look pretty and fit whatever you need. So in the design area on the right-hand side of the screen, you get a preview of the form, and that preview updates as you make changes. So let's say, for example, you wanted to change the intro message here. You can type in whatever you want for your intro message. I'm going to click the Need Ideas button and use one of the predefined ideas that we have. But as I click Update, you'll notice the preview on the right hand of the screen automatically updated as well. So the preview is just going to give you an idea of how things are going. You can, of course, change your logo. You can even change the shape of the logo. I have a circle here. You can make it a square or anything in between, right? You can even easily change the header color, which is that purple color, and the accent color, which is that blue color. So if you click this bar, you'll notice we predefined some colors for you. If you're in a hurry, you can quickly choose one of the color codes that we predefined for you. But you can also put in whatever custom colors you want, right? Work with your communications team, the people that help manage your website. You know what your church colors are. Get your specific church colors in there, right? But for the purposes of the webinar today, I'll just choose a slightly different shade of purple. And then we even, of course, had to put in a dark mode, right? Everybody loves a dark mode. You can choose a dark mode for the body of the form. That's the background of the form. You can also choose a dark mode for the front of the form as well. But I like a lighter mode for that. What I'll do now is click Save to save those changes. That's as easy as it is. As soon as you click Save, the changes are made on your website. So you could have a form out on your website, need to edit it. Come in here and edit it and click Save and never have to update that link on the website. Super easy to customize, super easy to use. On the form level, you can also have some additional options. The one that's most powerful is this funds area. This is where you can choose which of your online giving programs or funds are available on the form level. That way, if you have certain funds for Campus A, make those funds available on Campus A's forms. You can make a completely different set of funds available on Campus B's forms. Also, on the fund level itself, you can choose whether or not you want to allow memos. We did this because we know that church people are people too, and they, as well-intentioned as they are, they will designate a gift in a heartbeat, right? They will put in a designation for a wheelchair or an elevator or whatever they think the church needs. And you may already have 100 wheelchairs and they're still designating money to go to the wheelchair fund, right? So on the fund level, you can choose whether or not you want to allow memos. In this case, I have it off for the building fund, but you could put it on, which is just a pre-text, or you could allow contributors to select from a list of predefined memos. So maybe you have a missions fund and you're raising money for some specific missionaries. You could put their names in the predefined memo section, right? Or maybe you have a memorial fund. You could put names of the deceased family in that predefined memo section, just making it easier for your donors. If they choose memorials, they can then quickly choose a name so you know who they're giving in memory of. So that gives you an idea of the different customizations you can have on the form level. What I'm going to do now is the exciting part. I'm going to give a gift. So here we have our famous or widget church website, right? This is our fake church website with all our widgets on it. It has the online giving button here. If you click this online giving button, then what's going to happen here? Like I actually have to click it. It opens the giving form. And this will give you a good idea of how different giving forms can look. So this is a completely different giving form from the one we were looking at before. Notice the colors are different. The intro message is different. Everything about it's different. But when I go in that form, I'm already signed in Ministry platform. So it recognizes that I'm signed in. It shows that in the upper right-hand corner. I'm doing that intentionally. I want y'all to see what happens when I'm signed in. So I'm going to give a gift, and guys, I got the ACST credit card to give this gift. So I'm giving a big old $5 gift. I'm going to give $2 to the Further With Him campaign and $3 to, let's give $3 to general offering. So you'll notice when I talked about the memos, this is a great example. No memo is enabled on the Further With Him campaign. I do have a memo enabled on general offering, right? So I can put anything I want in that general offering memo line. For the purposes of what we're going through today, I'm going to give a one-time gift. But of course, we have tons of recurring gift options. What I like about the recurring gift options is that if a contributor chooses to put in an end date, so, you know, a lot of contributors will give like 12 times a year, 52 times to calculate a gift they're giving for the whole year. If they choose to put in an end date we summarize the total at the bottom for them to give them an idea. Okay, if you give this much, this will be your total gift amount by the end of the year. That way, if you have donors who really think about giving as a tithe, we're encouraging that mindset, right? You can see, have you given as much as you expected to give throughout that whole year? But again, for today, I'm just going to give once because I want to show you something later on in the form. When I click continue, because I'm signed in, it pulled in my save payment method. Of course, I could add a new payment method if I wanted to, but I'll choose from my save payment method. And then we have a processing cost option. So when you choose to set up NPE giving, you will have an option to enable your donors to give extra to help offset processing cost. You don't have to turn this on if this is not the culture of your church, but you can turn it on. It is then also optional for the donor. So notice I don't have to click it, but I can if I want to. And when you set up that processing cost feature, you have the ability to determine what percentage that is. You could set a higher percentage, for example, for card donations than you do ACH donations. A lot of churches do that since card fees are typically higher than ACH fees. So you have full control over that when you set up the product. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click Give. When I click Give, the gift is actually processing. This is a real live site. Real live money is moving through right now. Well, I hope it takes us either. Oh, it didn't take as long as I wanted. If it takes a while, like let's say you have a giant high volume giving day, that screen will actually continue to update to tell the donor that donations are being sent and processed. That way, if you have a donor who's a little impatient, they don't think that the gift isn't being processed and try to give again. You know, some donors, especially if you have a donor who has never used online giving before, they get a little uncomfortable when they give online for the first time. They think they may not have done something right, you know? And so the slightest thing that makes them feel uncomfortable, they'll either quit or give again. So that's why we built that in there to encourage those donors. You're doing it right. We're processing your gift. We're going to email you when your gift is finished processing. So here the gift is processed. You see I get a thank you note on this screen, and you can actually even customize this section of this thank you note. So that's fully customizable. You can put whatever wording in there you choose. Again, it lets the donor know that they'll receive an email confirmation for their donation. But then at the bottom, this is what I wanted you to see. Because I gave a one-time gift, it allows me to, or prompts me to turn that one-time gift into a recurring gift if I want. So it'll use that $5 amount and the exact same funds that I chose when I gave online and allow me to then set up easily a recurring gift for that. So, you know, again, trying to encourage people to give those recurring gifts because we know that those are the most reliable ways to give to a church. If I set up a recurring gift, you can count on that money better than you can count on a pledge, right? So putting some little incentives in there to help move donors in that direction. All right, I said it was real time. Let's check, guys. What I'm signed in here is the NPE giving instance that I just gave through. This is the instance that was linked to that widget church site. And you'll notice there is my gift that I just gave. It has the funds that I gave to, the offering that I typed in. If you wanted to, you could come in and edit some things about this donation or issue a refund if you need. And then there's the sync status telling me, great, this gift synced successfully with Ministry Platform. Nobody went in behind me and deleted all the programs, right? Nobody changed the API client. Everything is synced over. But just to prove it, let's go to Ministry Platform. So I'm going to show up the Ministry Platform instance that's linked to that site. Here I'm on the donation screen. I'm going to refresh the screen. And, oh, it's the 20th. That's why I can't see those gifts. See here. Oh, donations. Let's go to all donations. That look right. There I am right there, 620, the gift that I just gave. So the donation shows a Ministry Platform matched to my donor record, the donation date, and you can see in the audit log it was added by NPE Giving. So that's as real time as it gets. That way, you know, you never know when the head of the the church treasurer is going to call you and say, hey, I need reports right now, and you got to pull reports right now. Real-time processing, real-time syncing will be able to get you to pull those reports as quickly as possible. All right, that's not all, guys. That's all I wanted to show in the live site, but Leanne's going to share the presentation for us. I'm going to talk about a few more features that I didn't show as I went through the demo. Okay, we talked about giving from the website. This is giving from Pocket Platform. And what we've built in Pocket Platform, again, to make that donor experience as seamless as possible, is a handoff from Pocket Platform to Ministry Platform. You'll notice in Pocket Platform on the left, the donor has clicked to give, and they have a Give Now button. And when they click Give Now, Pocket Platform checks to see, hey, is this person signed in Pocket Platform? Do they have a Pocket Platform account? And if so, and the vast majority of Pocket Platform congregants do have Pocket Platform accounts. So if so, then when you click Give Now, it hands you off to Ministry Platform to a screen where you can enter a code. So the donor will be texted a code. They can enter the code that's texted to you. They're then behind the scenes automatically signed in Ministry Platform and signed in the MP eGiving instance. That way, when they give from the phone, if they have a saved payment method, they can easily pull from that saved payment method when they give. That same handoff concept of when you go to give online, prompting you to sign in and entering a code is available in the website experience as well. So when someone goes to the giving form and they click Give Online, if they click the sign in button, which I showed you in the top right corner, if they click that sign in button, that'll actually take them to Ministry Platform, where they can put in their Ministry Platform credentials. As soon as they're put in those Ministry Platform credentials, they're redirected right back to the giving form and then can give accessing any saved payment method that they have. Much is the same for text giving. So here you have an example of text giving. When you use MP eGiving, we provide the text giving number for you, that 73256 number. Your church gets to set up a keyword. You can set up a church keyword that relates to one fund, or one form. You can even set up keywords on the form level. So if you want to drive donations to a specific form, you can set up keywords on the form level. As a donor, all I have to do is text that keyword to 73256. I receive a text message in response with a link in it. When I click that link, the giving form opens on my phone. And again, if I choose to sign in, I can sign in that giving form using my Ministry Platform credentials. And then the next thing we have is events. Events today work very similarly to what you're accustomed to from the donor experience or the congregant experience. If you're accustomed to using widgets, it's the same payment handoff for that donor. So they go through the widget process, right? They register for that event. When they choose to check out, they're then handed over to a form. It's not a giving form, but it's a form that then has the amount that they are charged for the event, and they can put in their payment method to pay. That's all they're asked for on that form. And then on the back end, of course, we handle syncing that payment back to Ministry Platform to update Ministry Platform that they've paid, and as well as showing the payment in the payments grid that I showed you in the product overview. Now, I've talked a lot about what is available right now. Like if you were to go and start using this product today, everything that I showed you is already there. But there's more to come, guys. We're not finished. We will continue working on this. We're actively working on it now. We'll continue working on it for the next several, I was about to say several months. Let's say a few months. I don't actually think it'll take us several months, but I don't want to overcommit. So everything you see on the screen here is planned for us to do this year. We're going to be syncing refunds for payments and donations between systems. So if you sign an MP eGiving and issue a refund, that reverse donation will automatically come back to the platform. That way you don't have to add a reverse donation in the platform. We're also going to be syncing contact IDs. So if you merge two donors or two contacts that have donor records in the platform, that will tell MP eGiving to keep those user accounts and donors in sync. We're going to be doing some work with Pocket Platform. So if you want to, when you set up your Pocket Platform integration, Frequencies and fund options will show in the app itself. That's what you see an example of on the screen here. As a donor, I could go ahead and choose my fund and choose my frequency from the app. And then when I click give, be handed to MP to sign in and give through the giving form. A huge thing, and what we're actually working on right now with Vanco, is the ability to convert recurring gifts and save payment methods from Vanco Online to MP eGiving. So if you're a church that's using Vanco's Vanco Online product, I highly encourage you, don't sign up today. Don't use this today. Wait until we can convert your recurrences from that to MP eGiving. What that means is there would be no extra work for your donors. Your donors, when you choose to start using MP eGiving, could just sign in MP eGiving and access the save payment methods they had in Vanco Online, or update the recurring gifts they already had in Vanco Online. And then finally at the bottom, we'll be working on an SSO for the payment form as well. So I talked to you about a single sign-on experience that we have with Pocket Platform, with the donor form. We'll be working on an SSO experience for payment. So that means if I am a congregant and I've already signed in widgets to register for the event, when I get handed off to the payment, I don't have to sign in again. I'm still signed in and can still pull from a save payment method to quickly and easily give for that event. All right, to sum it all up, with MP eGiving, we've really put a lot of thought to try to make a better experience with automatic real-time donation posting and syncing for you. I think you saw that today. We've incorporated SSO to make that donor experience as frictionless and smooth as possible. Everything at the end of the day goes back into Ministry Platform. So Ministry Platform still gets to be the single source of truth for your data. And then because we built this at ACST, you get to call us if you have questions. No more having to call the vendor, having to be transferred to somebody else. The same great support team that you are used to working with today, when you send them a chat, when you send them an email, you can send them a chat or email if you have questions about MP eGiving. That way you don't have to hop back and forth and wonder who to talk to, right? We're here to help. We're here to answer all those questions for you. And then from the Vanco side, as I said before, they're willing to offer competitive pricing, no hidden fees at all, no contracts, and then no additional fees from us at ACE Technologies. All right, Leanne, what we got next?
All right, so of course we have a promo for you. If you sign up for MP eGiving by July 31st, you'll receive free processing for the month of August. So if you're considering MP eGiving, sign up by July 31st and get that free processing for a month. And Q&A, we had a couple of questions. I know that Caitlin was working hard to get most of those answered. There were a few that were unanswered, so I wanted to bring those up. The first one, Mary, do event payments show the name of the event or just event payments?
Yeah, they'll show a payment, but they'll also show the name of the program associated with that event. So you'll get the program name and the payment name. The thinking behind that is really those reports are for your finance teams, and that's what they need to see, right? The vast majority of your actual event registration reporting will still be done from the Ministry Platforms system itself.
Then another one about Pocket Platform, I know this was asked when you were covering what that looked like, is Pocket Platform only available on iOS?
No, it is iOS and Android.
All right. What else we have? If you have any questions, drop it in the Q&A.
I see we have a question about what are the fees. That's a great question.
Yes.
Guys, I could talk for 20 minutes about what are the fees. And the reason for that is because Vanco has some flexible pricing plans where you can choose the plan that best suits the volume for donations at your church. So for example, if you were a little tiny church, you wouldn't probably want to pay a monthly fee, right? You'd only want to pay per transaction. Larger churches, it's a little different. or a lot different, I should say. So we'll be following up with you after the webinar. We'll get someone in touch with you so they can talk through those plan options with you and you can make the best choice for your church.
There is one about being able to see the MPE giving donations through the giving history. Is that only MPE giving, or is it the MP all giving history for the donor?
So if you're in the giving history widget, you can see all giving history, including MPE giving. The MPE giving product itself, the donor could see their online giving history, but what we recommend you do, lean into widgets. Lean into widgets so that way when donors want to view their full giving history, they use that giving history widget and can see full plate, right? And not just what they gave through MPE giving.
Now, Caitlin is answering this one, but is there a money limit on single gifts?
$3. It's the money limit on single gifts.
I'm going through, I know Caitlin's answering some of them, so I will give her a chance to answer those that she is already working on.
Oh, Rebecca's got a good one. I'll talk about this some more. So, some questions came in about how does billing work and how does invoicing work and when are you charged for your fees? With that principle I talked about from the beginning of totals matching across all systems, right? When the monies are deposited from the donor's account to the church's account, the amount deposited is the full amount of that donation. Vanco does not take fees out of that donation. When you see that amount in your bank, that's what the donor gave. Then what Vanco will do is they'll email you to say, hey, these were all the gifts that you processed this month, and these are the fees that you'll be charged. And then after they send you that email, they'll automatically draft that fee amount from your bank account. So the email, that way you have your invoice right, but it's still an auto draft. You don't have to remember to send in a check or anything.
Perfect. Thank you for covering that.
We have a great question. How does somebody transition from another vendor to MPE giving? Does the MPE giving assist with that process? Yes, it does. So what I didn't show you, we have an entire migration tool in the product. So let's say you're not using Bank Online. You're using somebody else. I won't name anybody else, but you're using somebody else, right? And you have a lot of recurring gifts going through that somebody else. We want you to have a smooth process of communicating with those donors so that way they know, hey, you have a new product we're going to give through. That new product is great because you can sign in with your ministry platform credentials. However, you'll still need to set up a recurring gift in that new product and cancel your old recurring gift in your other product. We built a migration tool in MPE Giving to help you with that communication. You can import a list of your scheduled givers, communicate with them from that tool. What I like about the tool is it provides your finance staff with insights so they know who's successfully migrated and who hasn't. They can tell that by the donors themselves as well as by amounts. It gives them an idea of maybe how much longer they need to leave the third-party system active. You know, if you still got a lot going through it, you need to send reminders to donors to try and get them to switch over. If you don't have a lot going through it, go ahead and cancel that third-party system, right? So we built that migration tool in the product. I could spend probably a whole 45 minutes on that tool, but if y'all have any questions about it, we'd be glad to help answer those questions.
And I will say as well, if you're a parish and you are looking at MPE giving, there is a launch MPE giving to your parish toolkit. It is on our ACST Catholic site. Today, if you go to the resource library and toolkits, you'll see it there. That just gives you some launch resources that you can use to share with your parishioners and get them familiar with MPE giving.
We have another question on a maximum limit. Maximum limit, boy, that's a great problem to have, isn't it? So we talk about with maximum limit, that's like, is there an amount that when a donor gives online that would not be processed? And the answer is it depends on their payment method. If they give from a card, the card company probably has set a max, right? You may have a daily limit or a single transaction limit. That's relationship between you and your card company. If they try to give over that daily limit or that 30-day limit, the gift will not process. They will receive a message on the screen that tells them, and they need to then contact their card company and be like, "Hey, American Express, why won't you let me give more? I'm trying to be a really great donor." We don't see that happen a lot, to be honest. What you might see, though, on the ACH side, when someone is giving from their bank account, when they put in their checking account routing number, at the end of the year, you will see some massive donations come in, right? People are tithing in December before, get those gifts in before their statement rolls over right to the next year. As a church, Vanco will set with you a per transaction limit. That depends on you as a church as to what that limit is. But that limit doesn't actually stop, doesn't fully stop the gift from processing. What I mean by that is at year end, if you have a giant gift come through, like let's say you have a $100,000 gift come through, which I've seen, that's a real thing that happens. Vanco will call you and say, "Hey, we've got this $100,000 gift. Do you really want this to process online? Or do you need to reach out to that contributor and make sure that they meant to type in that many zeros," right? They're not going to automatically hit the bank account and wipe out that person's checking account because that person typed too many zeros. You can get the opportunity to say, "Oh yeah, I know them. They're a stockbroker. They just sold a bunch of stocks and they told us they were going to do this. Please process the $100,000 gift." That's a real life story. Or you might say, "Oh no, I know them. They're on a fixed income. They absolutely did not mean to do that. Don't process that gift." And I will follow back up with them and get in touch with them so that way they can give whatever the amount is they meant to give. So that's how maximum limits work when you're giving.
Thank you, Mary. There was one, when is this ready for a diocesan implementation?
Right now, you can hop on it right now. So we will sync not only the programs back and forth and deposits, but if you're in a diocesan implementation, we can do that on the parish level. So each parish would have its own MPE giving instance. And then that parish's MPE giving instance would only show the programs from that parish. And when the batch comes back into MP, it would be associated exactly with that parish or that congregation.
Perfect. So there's a question, what about syncing existing reoccurring gifts for a diocese?
So with reoccurring gifts, the reoccurring gift, the frequency never lives in the platform, will never live in the platform. It lives in the MPE giving instance. If you're wanting those gifts to be able to convert over, like let's say you're using a third party PayPal. Let's use PayPal as an example. Let's say you have a bunch of people going through PayPal. That's where you would use that migration tool that I talked about. That's a manual process. If you're using Vanco online and you want those recurring gifts to convert over, we are working on that with Vanco right now. And look for more information on that in the coming weeks. So we know who you are if you're in that scenario, and we will be proactively contacting you when that is ready. So that way we can make sure you get those recurring gifts converted.
All right, there are no open questions right now. There are a few more coming through. Let's see. I'm going to take just a minute to pause. I want to make sure that if those who are getting their questions answered before you hop off, you know what to do if you are ready to start today. So if you are ready to start, or if you have even more questions and you want to speak to somebody, give us a call. We're ready to talk to you about MPE giving. So there's our number, 1-800-736-7425. Choose option 1 in that menu when it first pops up, and then you'll be able to speak to somebody about MPE giving. I'll go back and we can finish some Q&A. All right. So would we not be able to have it live in our diocese until we can transition recurring Vanco gifts?
Not necessarily. It's going to depend on what each parish uses. So if the parish is using Vanco Online, I'd recommend they wait. If the parish is using something like PayPal, come on over today. Stop using PayPal. Their reporting is not ideal. They have other great benefits, but come on over today and get them off something like that to have them use this product. Will NPE Giving pull in previous gifts from last month? Sort of. What I mean by that is, I talked about that resync option. We looked at a donation that had not been synced. You had the ability to resync it. That would be available for any donations given from the time the integration was turned on forward. So from that time forward, it's certainly available. We're going to have a few churches working with us who are going to have donations in that system before the integration's enabled. It's not going to be common. There's a few of you. We will work with you again. We know who you are. Benefit of us building this product, right, is we know who you are. If something was given before the integration was enabled, then that does not go into the ministry platform system. So that's some more nuance on how that works. Hope that helps clarify.
Yes. Think we've answered all the questions. If you have any other questions, throw them in there. We have just a few more minutes. We'll stay on, but I do want to just remind you, if you have more questions, you want to speak to somebody, or if you're ready to get started, give us a call. We'll be happy to get you started on NPE Giving today. I will go ahead and say our thank yous. Thank you, Mary, for taking the time to show us NPE Giving, answer all of our questions. We really appreciate your time in doing that. And thank you to everyone that attended. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days in ministry to learn more about NPE Giving. We really think that it can streamline your giving process. So we are excited to see some of you implement NPE Giving today. If you have more questions, we'll stay on the next few minutes just to get those answered, but we really appreciate it. You will get a recording of this early next week, and we hope to talk to you all soon.